Look, Mr. Chestnut, I'm not going to exchange a word with this... Anyway, we had an agreement, you and I hope you'll keep to your word. John Baptiste's mother glares at me coldly. I hear the director mutter in his beard. But we hadn't agreed to anything. I don't know what to make of the situation. After a few seconds that feel like hours, I give up and say, what exactly is the problem? I'm sure we can find a solution. I'm not sure how to tell you this. Mrs. Levick wishes to remove her son from your class. Okay, I have nothing to be ashamed of. Oh, the moon! I don't understand. Are you insinuating that there is something wrong with my teaching? Why would you want to remove your son from my class? This has nothing to do with your teaching. Mrs. Levick, be reasonable. You can't ask us to change the classes just like that, for no good reason. For no good reason? Ah, that's it. You're falling under the Delator's spell too. The family of pagans. You arrive in town and just like that you think you can get away with anything? But me, I can see what you're up to, and I won't be fooled like the others. Do you want me to say it? What you are? A witch. Dang! In that case, it may be unwise to make me angry. Ooh, that's gonna give me a moon for sure. Do we try to just calm her down? Those tales of witchcraft have nothing to do with me. I'm gonna hex you, bitch. To the moon. Let's go with this one. Let's try to play it cool. And if this doesn't work, I'm just gonna... No fricks given, you know? I don't appreciate your insinuations, and I will not have my name associated with your archaic superstitions. I am a scientist, and I assure you that I don't believe any of this nonsense. And you, Mr. Chestnut, I hope you won't let yourself be influenced by these medieval beliefs. Oh, Daphne, you go, girl. If my teaching doesn't suit you, then no doubt there are private schools that may even share your convictions and who would be delighted to add your son to their ranks. I would happily continue to explain myself, but Mr. Chestnut interrupts to cut short the discussion. You see, I was sure that we discuss it rationally, we could come to a consensus. I trust you are reassured, Miss Levick. And, Miss Delator, I hope I can rely on you to take good care of our dear John Baptiste progress. Of course, sir. I'll pay special attention. What? You're in on it together. There is no other explanation. You, Delator, you won't get away with this. You haven't heard the last of me. Without warning, she leaves the room, slamming the door behind her. There's an awkward silence, which is quickly broken by John Chestnut. That's the third time she's burst into my office for this nonsense. I believe I owe you one, Daphne. It's my job. Ooh, son. You're welcome, Mr. Chestnut. Soothing parents' irrational fears is also part of the job description. Thank you for the hydrate, Joe. When I finally get out of school, it's almost dark and rain is pouring down again. As if today's events hadn't already annoyed me enough. Seriously, how could that woman smear my family name like that? I know that the Delatours have a bit of a repetition in the area, but to call me a witch to my face? In my workplace? Even if I did have magical powers, how could she think I would harm a child? It's appalling. I've lit a cigarette and I'm sitting by the window brooding over these thoughts. When suddenly, the headlights of a car illuminate the bend in the road. To my surprise, it turns at the gate and comes up to the lane to the house. Who would visit me this late? I think I recognize the grubby gray van with a ladder on its roof and the hastily patched up right wing mirror. How is this possible? What is he doing here? I run down the stairs. I open the front door. Frank? There he is, my ex-lover, at the door, drenched by the relentless rain. My heart sinks at the thought of seeing him, talking to him once again, just when I'd resigned myself to the fact that he was a remnant of the past. First happy, then not so much. How did he know? How did he find me? I hadn't even told him I was leaving. Daphne, how long do you plan on making me wait in the rain? We need to talk. But what are you doing here? Frank stands in the hall, watching me, clearly annoyed. I'm fine, thanks for asking. I know we broke up, but didn't it even cross your mind to call and let me know that you were moving to other side of the country? I mean... What do you mean? Come on, explain. It's none of your business? That's kind of the mentality we went with, right? It's Nanya? It's got nothing to do with you. You said it yourself. We broke up. Alright. Then tell me why I'm still getting your mail. Huh? You drove all the way here in the middle of the night in pouring rain to tell me you're getting my mail? 911? Hello? My mail? Yes, a letter from your mother. I know your relationship's difficult, so I figure it's probably important. And then I had to track you down, which wasn't exactly child's play. It would have been easier if you would left me your new address. Since I'm between jobs, I thought I'd take a few days off. Why? Don't you have my number? What? Oh my gosh. Frank smiled at me, looking amused. Then pretending to check out the room, he adds, "Funny, I've been dreaming of a weekend in a bed and breakfast, or should I say castle and breakfast." Bro, what are these vibes I'm getting? So, what do you think? It's a little bigger than our old flat on the main street. Do you ever get lost on the way to the bathroom? You know, I've always thought you were a bit of a tough. Wouldn't you agree, Lady Daphne? Oh, gosh. Quite talking crap. What? Don't you like Lady Delatour? What about Lady Daphne or Your Grace? Your Grace sounds perfect, don't you think? Frank is wandering around the hall inspecting the furniture and ornaments. If there's one thing he's particularly good at, it's the way he can diffuse tense situations. Can he though? No, I'm not liking this at all, actually. Do you mind if we talk about it tomorrow? I've got to say, I'm shattered. As he speaks, he pulls a letter from his inside pocket and places it on the chest of drawers in the hall. Your mother's a letter. I know it's not easy for you, but if you need to talk about it, I'm right here. Thank you. Well, if it's okay with you, I'm going to crash on your sofa for a few hours. What's that creepy smile? I don't like this. You know? Thank you, babe. There's like 4,000 rooms up there. I can't let you sleep on the sofa. I'll set you up in a guest room. Even better, show me the way. Whoa! Oh. I wake up early in the next morning. Okay. This is my bed, right? In my own room? What just happened? Frank must still be asleep upstairs and won't be awake up for at least a couple of hours if I know him. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. Everybody relax. I don't feel like getting up yet, so I decide to stay snuggled under the quilt for a few more minutes. I think about what happened yesterday and how odd the situation is. Frank is fast asleep in a room just a few yards from mine. I can't believe he came all this way just to bring me a letter from Mom. Is he regretting our breakup? Is this letter just a pretext to see me again? What? Yes? I was ready to never see him again, after everything we've gone through. We met almost 10 years ago. I was so unlikely. We had such completely different lifestyles. He was a carpenter, and I was a freshman at the university, science major. I would just arrive in town. There was a party at an acquaintance's. I still don't know why I was invited. I don't know why I went either. I guess when you're 20 years old, you jump at any occasion to go out. I guess the idea of escaping my student digs was enough to convince me to put on a pretty dress and jump on a bus. Frank shouldn't have been there either. He was working on a particularly demanding project, but our hostess had insisted until he had given up and agreed to come. I guess that's what we call fate. The magic worked right away. Then it was the same old story. A few years later, we moved in together. It was stupid paying 2 rents when we were living with each other all the time. 2 years ago, we took things a step further. Frank's small carpentry business was doing well. My PhD was on track. The subject just came up by itself. Frank asked me if I wanted to have a baby. For him, it was so simple. He was so sure about it. He was so sure of everything, of the strength of our relationship, that he didn't want to wait any longer, that it was the right time. I had cold feet at first, objecting that I wanted to finish my PhD first, that we would have to think about it, but he managed to convince me. It wasn't that hard. I loved him more than anything, and I knew that, sooner or later, I would want to start a family with him. Why wait? We were happy. And then, late in the pregnancy, a few weeks before the due date, I lost the child. They made me keep the lifeless thing in my belly for days, until the doctors decided to induce labor. They didn't understand what had gone wrong. Frank stayed with me at every step. He held my hand as I expelled death from my womb. The doctor refused to let me see the baby, objecting that I was too fragile to handle it. But I saw Frank's eyes when they pulled the motionless and silent corpse out of me. I clung to him as much as I could, but there was a chasm in my chest. I didn't want to admit it to myself, but I knew something was irrevocably broken. Frank decided to incinerate the body and scatter the ashes. Burying the body meant naming it, making it, in a way, exist. And that was much more than we could bear. In any case, I was incapable of making any decisions. When the first shock wave and the tsunami it created in our lives finally receded, I realized our relationship was doomed. We did all we could to overcome the misery, but sooner or later we had to face facts. We broke up without a fight. We agreed we couldn't go on like that. Frank kept our old apartment, and I took a furnished flat in the meantime. Then, a couple of months later, the notary told me my grandmother had just passed away, and she had bequeathed everything to me. I take a quick shower, then go downstairs. The noise from the coffee machine tells me that Frank's found his way to the kitchen. Mom's letter is still propped on the chest of drawers in the hall. I'll have to open it sooner or later. What should I start with? Read the letter. The envelope is a dog-eared and yellowing, as though it had traveled a lot. The stamp is foreign. The lettering tells me that it was probably posted somewhere in Asia. I open it with a shaking hand. It's the first news I've had from her for years. It's been, what, 5, 6 years? I can't remember the last time we talked. Frank has never even met her. She was always a terrible mother, extremely controlling, but also glacially cold and strict. When I turned 18, I got a university scholarship, which allowed me some financial independence, which, in turn, quickly became total independence. I couldn't put up with her interference in my life any longer. Little by little, we lost touch. One year, I made an excuse not to visit her at Christmas. The next year, I just sent her a card. I started to filter her calls, and one day, the phone stopped ringing. The bond was broken, and years have passed without me noticing her absence. When I tried to contact her, she had disappeared without leaving an address. I must admit I didn't try very hard to track her down. And now, out of nowhere, she comes back into my life with this letter. Her nervous, jerky handwriting hasn't changed. The content of the letter, though, is as cryptic as it is brief. Daphne, please don't accept the inheritance from your grandmother. Don't go back there. You'll only be putting yourself in danger. Regards, Sophie Delator. That's it? That closing says a lot about her tender-heartedness. I wasn't expecting your mommy who loves you, but, well, Mom never talked about the time she spent here with my grandmother at the castle. It seemed obvious to me that something had happened, but what? I turned this over in my mind as I entered the kitchen. Frank holds a steaming mug of coffee and is gazing out through the French windows. So, you managed to figure out the coffee machine. You know me. Without my morning caffeine, I'm a total zombie. Did you sleep well? Oof. I've been thinking. I have to admit I didn't get much sleep with you being here. Oh, good, Daphne. I know. It stirred up some stuff for me too. And you must have guessed, I haven't traveled 300 miles just to play mailman. I figured your arrival might have an ulterior motive. I think you know exactly why I'm here, so I'm going to ask you straight out. What do you think, Daphne? Tell me, should we try to start over together? I'm thinking no. But we could go, I don't know. Nah, you know what? We already cut ties with this guy once before, okay? And we probably did that for a valid reason. We can't just start over again, can we? I think we go no with this one. I'm sorry. Listen, if you need a place to stay, borrow my couch, okay? I'll even give you coffee. We have a pass together. But more than that, no. I don't know is not an answer. Okay, we're going no. No. Look, I don't think it's such a good idea. Not after everything we've been through. All right. At least that's very clear. To my astonishment, his face relaxes all at once. He grins at me and changes the subject. So, seriously, what have you been doing here all this time? I tell him about my life and everything that's happened since I arrived. The Burtines, the Malteras, the tower with no entrance, and all the crazy stuff. I mention that now I'm a school teacher. I also tell him about Mom's letter. He's not sure what to make of it either. Right. Well, I've got to say, your stories are very exciting, but also kind of worrying. Here's what I suggest. Whatever happens, I'm going to stick around here for a while. Frank, why? Why would you stick around? Don't you know what no means? Can you not read between the lines? Frank, buddy. I don't have any contracts in the near future, and I can afford to give myself a couple of weeks off. After that, we'll see. If I find some work around here, I'll stay a few more months. It's not as if there's anyone waiting for me to come home. And it would give us time to think things over. Dude, this guy can't take a no. Does it bother you if stay? Wait. Does it bother you if I stay at the castle for a week or two? Just until I can find a room somewhere. Okay, max 2 weeks. Okay? We have a big history. For good old sakes, I'll give you 2 weeks. But on the 14th day, you're out. Okay? On the 14th day, you're gonzo. You can stay a few days. Okay? That's fine. Did you think I would throw you out? Of course, you can stay for a few days until you get your bearings. Definitely, no. You have to be more cold. You have to be more direct. Alright? Thanks. It's kind of you not to make me homeless. Don't thank me. It's the least I can do. So, how do we do this? I don't want to get under your feet. There's no reason we'd be in each other's way. The house is plenty big enough for both of us. I was just thinking, I would better tell the wardens you're here before I leave. We don't want Mr. Bortine to shoot you like a rabbit if he sees you hanging around the house. That's very reassuring. Don't be silly. They're very nice, you'll see. I've really got to get going. Enjoy your day. You too. I try to put my thoughts in order as I drive to school. There's quite a lot to digest. Hey Weenie, how you doing, buddy? The day flies by, fast as an arrow. With everything that's happened since yesterday, I'm having trouble keeping my mind on my work. When I get back to the castle, there's a light and movement. Even if it's only temporary, I'm glad not to be alone for a while. It makes a nice change from my last few weeks of solitude. A fire crackles in the hearth, and delicious smells drift out of the kitchen. It's almost too perfect, and I have a hard time not taking advantage of Frank's kindness. He seems determined to see to my every need. Bruh. Okay, enough. Enough. We have said no multiple times now. And he can't take a no. He just keeps asking, keeps working his way in, finding other ways to be there, you know? Notice the signs. Daphne. Still, he manages to keep out of my way. We eat our meals together, but otherwise, we get on with our own business in different parts of the house. As promised, about 10 days later, he tells me he's found a small furnished flat in the village, and he's moving in the next day. Oh, thank goodness. I'm relieved to see him go. I've got a feeling that if he stayed much longer, the situation would become awkward. Days, and then weeks go by, and I slip back into my routine of the school, the village, and the house. I'm walking in the forest. The leaves have begun to redden, and the trees are clad in the bold colors of fall. It's getting late, but I'm too busy strolling along the path. I hadn't noticed, but night has begun to fall. I can see the castle at the end of the trail, but as I get closer, it seems to move away. I feel a presence behind me. Something deeply evil, ominous, almost sickening. I begin to run. The house has disappeared completely, and I find myself in some kind of a meadow. There is something in the middle, something that softly reflects the moonlight. As I get closer, I discover it's an oval pool filled with a silvery liquid. The image reflected on the surface is me, but not me at the same time. The sensation of dissonance gets stronger as I draw nearer. I can make out my facial features, but something has changed. I'm barefoot. There is something different about my bearing, the way I carry myself. My hair is longer. It reaches the middle of my back. Thank you so much for being here, Tally. I really do appreciate you. Happy Monday. Sleep well. Have a good one. Most strange of all, it's pure white. When I look into my reflection, I seem so calm, so at peace. I reach toward the mirrored surface, my fingers stretched out, and the reflection starts to tremble, as if it was resonating. When my finger touches the cold and strangely clammy surface, it shatters into 1,000 pieces. For a few moments, the darkness is absolute. I'm in some kind of a garden. A heavy fog surrounds me. I'm moving toward a reddish light that pulls me toward it like a lighthouse in a muffled, turbid storm. I can make out a statue, a sort of human-sized sphinx carved in granite. There is something majestic yet profoundly sad in the hunched-up, impassive attitude of the creature. When I'm close enough to distinguish it, I realize the creature wears my face. I see my countenance reflected in hers like a mirror. Then her eyes come alive, and the imploring, helpless look seems to beg for mercy. I'm frozen in contemplation, my heart overflowing with sadness and awe, when once again I feel like this sickening presence, like a warmth breath on the back of my neck. I turn, struggling against the terror which invades me, and suddenly I'm falling endlessly. Darkness buries me. I wake up with a jolt. Chapter 3. October. I'm barefoot in the grass. Before me, the black mass of the forest seems to invite me in. I feel a hand on my arm. Miss? I heard a noise, so I came to check. Mrs. Bortine is standing next to me, looking concerned. What am I doing here? What happened? A bad dream, miss. Just a bad dream. Come on, let's get you back to bed. It's the forest, right? The Sphinx calling me. Mrs. Bortine guides me back to my bedroom. I fall into a dreamless sleep. When I wake again, the sun is well up in the sky. I'm surprised to see Mrs. Bortine still here, asleep in a chair on the other side of the room. Aww. She's sleeping so peacefully. I feel almost guilty waking her up. Aww. Mrs. Bortine? Oh, hello, Miss Daphne. I'm sorry, I must have dropped off. dropped off? What are you doing here? Oh, don't you remember? You gave us quite a fright last night. My Gerard heard you go out. He heard a noise and went to check what it was. When he saw it was you, he woke me up so I could take you back to bed. We're used to it anyway. It used to happen to Madame, your grandmother, quite often. Once or twice a month. We'd find her wandering in the garden, and we had to put her back to bed. It must be the moon. Ah, you don't say. The moon? Well, yes. She always did it when the moon was full. You know what they say, don't you? About a full moon? I don't see the... Sorry, I'm a dum-dum. Can you explain it to me, Mrs. Bortine? There's really no scientific proof that the moon influences behavior. Wait, I don't know, man. Oh, well, those scientists are always a step or two behind. I speak from experience. The full moon always brings something with it. You have to be aware of full moon dreams. Actually, I had a strange dream last night. We got the star. It's funny you should mention it. I did have a strange dream, actually. I was in the forest, and then there was a mirror and a sphinx. A sphinx, you say? Did you know that's part of your family's coat of arms? Maybe you saw it there. Well, perhaps. A coat of arms? Yes, that's right. The blazon of the Delators. You should have a look. It's carved into the tower wall. A blazon with a tower and a sphinx. A bit like the one from the pyramids. I'll take a look when I get a chance, thanks. You're right, maybe I did see it there. Well, miss, if you don't need me anymore, I'll get back to the lodge. Gerard must be waiting for me to fix his lunch. Yes, of course. Off you go. I know how to look after myself. In that case, have a good day, miss. And if you need anything at all, you just let me know. Mrs. Bortine goes, leaving me alone with my questions. I keep telling myself that this might be the moment to call Dr. Durant. He said I could call him if I felt the need, and I'm afraid that time has come. I'm not so sure he can do anything for me, but you never know. I pick up the phone and dial his number. Hello? Dr. Durant? It's Daphne Delatour. Oh, hello, Daphne. Why are you calling? Well, you told me I could call. True, but you haven't been in touch since August, you know. And now you're calling me on a Sunday morning. I'm guessing it must be important. Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize. I can call you back tomorrow if you prefer. No, you were right to call me. That's precisely why I gave you this number. And I'll be more tuned in now than I would be between patients tomorrow. I quickly run through everything that's happening since I arrived. I end with the recurring dream and with what happened last night. Listen, Daphne, I understand why you've called me, but there is no cause for alarm. There is no proven treatment for somnambulism. and everything suggests that it's an isolated crisis, certainly due to your new environment. But you must have an explanation for the dream, don't you? Well, for that, we can look into psychoanalysis. Tell me, how would you interpret it? I, it felt like a premonitory dream, sorry. I don't know, the dream, it was really strange. It almost felt like a premonition. You are entitled to your beliefs, Daphne, but let me remind you that you are in charge of your own destiny. Don't you forget that. Even if this dream was indeed a premonition, as you say, don't be trapped by the idea that your fate can't be changed. Yes, you're right. Most of all, don't push yourself too hard. Take some time to think things over. You've been through a lot of changes. When you get your bearings, everything will be fine. You will see. Thank you, Doctor. You told me your ex-partner had paid you a visit. How did you see things there? Intrusive. Yeah, not a big fan. Did not like. I think it's very pushy. I didn't move to the other side of the country just to have him follow me. Your violent reaction seems to indicate you still have unresolved issues. Maybe you could take advantage of his presence there to talk over your relationship. Be honest with him and with yourself. Wait, what are you like his dad? Are you in cahoots? Did he pay you? You're probably... No, he's not. Daphne, listen to me instead, okay? Frick this doctor guy. What does he know, huh? Listen to me. You're on your way to finding a new balance. It's up to you to decide if it's with Frank or without him. That's exactly what I plan to do. So you mentioned a young man, a Stanislas. Is that right? A what? Why are you talking about him? I may have mentioned? Wait, is he aware of stuff I haven't told him? Oh, no. Should I be worried? Weird vibes. Why are you talking about him? Oh, yes, I did. Okay. But I don't see what he's got to do with my relationship with Frank. Don't get worked up. I'm just surprised you took the time to tell me every detail of your meeting with this man, since you only met him for a couple of minutes. Oh, is that the douchebag from the bakery? I see where you're going with this, but I'm afraid you're on the wrong track. Me and Maltaire? No, it honestly hasn't even crossed my mind. Without talking about romance, I'm simply trying to point out some difficulties you may have bonding with new people. You left in order to start afresh, didn't you? One last thing. Before we get back to our own regular Sundays. Yes? How do you feel about your new job? I think we like it. I think we do secretly like it. We had some unlucky incidents with the that specific mom of the kid, but you know, every job has a thorn in the side, you know. So I think we like it. I think we like it. Oh, we got a globe and a sun. The globe is a new one. I know I wasn't sure about it when I left, but believe it or not, I love my new job. It was perfectly normal to be anxious in your situation. I was sure you would enjoy it. You were right. Teaching is really fulfilling and so satisfying to enable those young brains to get a grip on complex ideas. I'm glad to hear that. Hang on to that positive element. It will help you get through the trials life throws at you. All right, Daphne, I'm sorry, but I have to go. I'm glad to hear that you're more at peace. No matter what, I don't think you've got any need to worry. It's perfectly normal to doubt yourself and to need time to get your bearings. I'm glad to hear you say that. As for your sleepwalking episode, be alert, but don't be alarmed. You told me about the wardens living nearby. Perhaps you could ask them to be on their guard, in case it happens again. Call me if you do ever feel yourself getting overwhelmed, and, if needed, I'll refer you to a colleague in your area. Okay. Oh, and unless it's an emergency, do try to check the day of the week before you jump at the phone next time. Yes, of course, Doctor. I'll try to limit my sleepwalking to weekdays from now on. All right, okay. We'll say no more about it. Have a good Sunday. Thanks, you too. As I'm recovering from my nights, lolling on the sofa with a good book and a cup of tea, I hear someone knocking. I'm surprised to find Frank beaming at me on the porch and holding a bunch of flowers. Oh no! Carnations. Oh, carnations, your favorites. When I saw them at the market, I thought of you right away. He hands me the flowers as he steps inside. He steps inside? Why? Did I invite him? How about a coffee? I got a lot going on, okay? I have a couch I need to lay in. I have a cup of tea getting cold. Now is not a good time, Frank. It's really not. Yeah? No? I'm sorry, but this isn't a good moment. Can we do this another time? What's wrong? Were you having a nap? He's already inside and on his way to the kitchen. It's through here, right? I didn't come 300 miles to admire the scenery. I came to spend time with you. I've got a headache, or I've got better things to do. Isn't going to cut it, okay? Oh my god! Oh my god! Ugh. And you're going to have to put up with me a while longer. I've got a few jobs set up in the area. So tell me, how are you doing? Resigned, I let him put the flowers in a vase and fix us 2 cups of coffee. Bruh. We chat for a while. In passing, I tell him about my eventful night. I listen to him with half an ear as I sort out the family albums. 1 hour and 2 coffees later, Frank finally decides to get to the point. You told me about your tower with no door, do you remember? I've got to admit, I was pretty intrigued. Would you mind if I take a look? Not at all. Jeez, help yourself. I'm as intrigued as you are. I'm wondering what might be inside. As if he would listen to a no anyways, okay? I don't think this is Daphne changing her mind. I think this is, I better just say what he wants to hear so he doesn't slash me, stab me in the back. In that case, I'll investigate and report back to you. Wink wink. I hate this guy. Do you want me to check you around for an old pipe? I think you ought to be properly equipped. Don't you, Sherlock Holmes? Very funny. I'm sure I can resolve the mystery of the yellow room. Then Frank goes off to do his stuff and I get back to my blankets and my thriller. He reappears late in the afternoon, his coat covered with dust and his shoes covered in mud. So, from the look on your face, I'm guessing it wasn't elementary, my dear Watson. Nope. I have to admit defeat. So, what are your conclusions? That there must be an entrance somewhere, but I couldn't find it. I tried to get in by the wall with the ladder, but the arrow slits are too narrow and too deep. I can't see anything inside, let alone get in unless I blow up the wall. Mrs. Bortine caught me doing my acrobatic act, so I took the chance to ask her a few questions. Apparently, she's got no idea what's inside either. I told you so. When I suggested getting in by the roof, she immediately advised me against it. Apparently, the roof hides another older stone ceiling. No way in that way either. And thinking about the kind of scaffolding I'd need to get up there, I think I'll take her word for it. Well, at least you tried. Sure. Well, I'd better go. I've got a big day tomorrow. Thanks for the coffee. You're welcome. See you later. See you.